my friends, welcome. This is Archangel. Let's take a little journey. Males are brilliant and creative. Males are strength and compassion. Males have a depth of caring that will cause them to forfeit their own mortality for the welfare of another. The tragedy is that males do care, yet reciprocity of this caring is not returned to them in kind. Males deserve to be loved for being, yet they are not. Males desperately seek to glean equal caring from females, whether it be from a lover or from mommy. Yet males refuse to see that females do not care about males or their welfare in kind, nor will they anytime in the foreseeable future. Thus, males project their love, romance, and depth of caring onto females and choose to see female words and actions as manifestations of some basal love and caring of male personhood. Indeed, males project their own tender feelings and desires onto females, and for a fee, females will play along with males' little fairy tale. I can project warm and fuzzy feelings onto a crocodile and pretend that they care. However, this does not mean that they care about me or my welfare, nor does it mean that they won't turn on me any second they choose. This is the female placebo, males pretending genuine in the fake and inert. Yet, if males receive the attention and validation they desire, even though it's a pseudo-fix, then why change? Why rock the boat? This is the premise I explored in the first placebo video. Now, let's take this female placebo to another introspective platform. So, the equation is this. Males want to receive caring from an exterior source, meaning a thing or being outside of themselves, and this exterior validation will then bolster their inner isolation. If something external demonstrates care for males, it will give them a reprieve from being cursed, isolated beings that have so much love to give, yet none to receive. Hence, if males are contented with the female placebo, then why could this not extend to other beings? In fact, this debate must be expanded. If males feel real comfort from female fakeness, even though placebo works for males because they do not know females are being insincere, then why couldn't males glean care from other sources? If males love a car and feel that their car loves them in return by functioning properly and getting them where they need to go safely, then what's the problem? If males find respite from life's misery in something other than human females, then why chastise them? They are receiving some much needed consolation from a world of hostility. Anything fake or inert could provide as much genuine caring as human females have for human males. And really, since human females have pretty much no concern for male welfare, we could get the same lack of genuine concern for male personhood from a toaster or a hairdryer as well. Human females, once again, are not special at all, since we can get the same male apathy from a sheet of plywood as we get from human females. You see, in all actuality, males are the love emitters, and other people or objects merely reflect our feelings back onto us. This is what projection is. We project feelings or aspects of ourselves onto others. All humans project. We make determinations of others and project these expectations onto them, and then see only what we choose to see. Just as we project onto males our beliefs that they are murderers, rapists, and plunderers. Thus humanity only sees this when they observe males. Likewise, since we project love, altruism, and benevolence onto females, we only cherry-pick these graces from their apathetic, self-interested behaviors. Now, one could argue that placebo effects of affection is why many people bond so fiercely with animals, because they derive the experience of caring from their pets. However, I could argue that animal fondness is not placebo, but genuine caring. Animals return genuine interaction to humans. What you see is how they feel. There is no premeditative subterfuge. Now, whether animals are truly caring, or whether they are simply incapable of malice and merely placate the hands that feed them, either way, I observe the actions that animals enact towards humans as genuine and not placebo. Okay, so where am I going with this? Well, what about caring from non-carbon entities? I have watched a few movies lately that have made me expand the placebo discussion to non-biological entities. I have long observed a device in science fiction movies where the geek will find affection from a robot or android or artificial intelligence such as a ship's computer or a hologram program. One of the things I love about movies, especially sci-fi, is that it gives me some very deep pause to introspect the human creature. So why can't males find solace from non-carbon-based anthropomorphic female entities, or simply from stimuli and signals sent directly to a male's brain? This may sound silly to the brainwashed masses of gynocentric worshippers, but it is just as relevant to the placebo males receive from flesh and blood. And in fact, this is more relevant to males. And if you are like me, you wish this technology was available now, today. Take androids. I foresee that males could love a sentient android just as fiercely as a biological female, if not more so. So what's the problem? This is placebo. Back off and let males enjoy their fantasy, right? Well, in this instance, I see no problem. In fact, I see less harm in mechanized female placebo than carbon-based female placebo. Now, the discussion takes two avenues here. One, gleaning companionship from a program designed to mimic caring for humans. And two, actual self-aware artificial intelligence. If a male finds intimacy from an advanced computer following a program to mimic love and caring for a male, then how is this different from a biological female mimicking care in order to usurp utility? If a male finds comfort and enjoyment in a program, then it is placebo. And for those arguing gynocentrism and validation through human females, which is the female placebo argument, these pro-female placebo arguers would be compelled to embrace this stance as well, as a matter of consistency in order to avoid hypocrisy of dogma. Female placebo is female placebo, no matter where males receive it from. I mean, come on, vagina addicts will argue, what's the big deal? Leave the blue pill males alone. Now, I turn the argument back onto the addicts that enable male devaluation and say, yes, exactly, what's the big deal if males leave biological females for a mechanized companion? In both cases, males extrapolate genuine from the false. Furthermore, what really has had me spinning my mental gears is the prospect of self-aware artificial intelligence. I will not broach the technicalities of AI, I simply ponder the emotional ramifications here. So why could males not find genuine affection and emotion from an artificial being capable of genuine emotion? There is no reason, because males could find affection from the non-biological. So the question really is, why should males not find affection from that which is other than carbon-based? Well, indeed, awakened males know the quick and dirty answer to that question, because the vaginisty would lose worker drones to pamper, coddle, placate, provide, and die for the uterine bearers of society. This is the reason you see any aversion to artificial realities, because the gynocentric establishment does not want to lose shovels. For its own survival, it needs to keep human males focused on and subservient to human females, period. Keep this underlying reason in mind as you mentally chew on all the content referencing males and artificial anything, whether android or AI or virtual reality or the artificial womb, etc. Okay, so males are sexually attracted to the female form. Thus, it follows that males would make an android in the image of a beautiful female. Now, were the technology in place to construct a female anthropomorphic being and make her believable in appearance, not cheesy or rubbery looking like a doll, moreover, were she able to move fluidly and learn and be self-aware, and most importantly, possess capability of feeling genuine emotion, then what would be the problem in males finding outlet for their hurt and isolation in a non-biological being? I say there would be nothing wrong with this. In fact, I could see myself seeking respite in such a being. Not a being mimicking human behaviors or emotions, but a genuine mechanical equivalent to humans. A being that learned and could grow, a being that was self-aware, and a being capable of emotion every bit as valid as biological emotion. Yet I find very compelling this notion when I contemplate it. Really, if you cared about a female android and she cared about you, then what's the problem? Well, again, the only problem is for biological females that will have to protect and provide for themselves, because they price themselves out of the market with their flagrant, hypergamous, gynocentric, apathetic, engender-preferenced, self-interested princess attitudes. But you see, here I must invoke the animal argument made earlier, because finding affection in such an artificial intelligence would not be placebo. You would be receiving genuine emotion from a being capable of giving it, not a program. Hence, I find that whether a hologram or an actual android, if it had true AI and cared for a biological male, then I see no problem with such interactions. In fact, I find myself strangely and curiously drawn to this scenario. And if the technology was there to truly make androids resemble biological females aesthetically, I could foresee males having no need for biological females any further, assuming artificial womb technology is in place. Otherwise, males might consult surrogates for children. This may seem preposterous, but really it is not, because you must understand this issue is not about sex, meaning intercourse. Indeed, a biological vagina will always win a feeling contest over an artificial vagina. Well, until we get an android that is a hybrid of living tissue and mechanization. But rather, this issue is about love and its genuine reciprocation to males. So what's the difference between males gleaning emotion from machines or from meat popsicles? Because really, what is emotion? Emotion is merely a strong feeling. And why would AI emotion be any less valid than human emotion? If we assume sentience on the part of both, then biological sensation, which translates to feeling and thus emotion, this would be no more relevant than mechanized interpretation of sensation. I mean, really, you touch something that is hot. Your nerves tell your brain, hey, this is kind of hot, and this causes you to flinch away. This whole experience gives you a negative emotion based upon the precedent set in your mind from previous encounters with hot objects. So what would give more validity to nerves carrying a message to neurons over sensors carrying messages to a CPU? It is all information telling one how to react or behave. It is all information, and it simply boils down to a matter of information storage, whether chemically or electronically. So if males glean emotion from a biological female or an android, or from their cherry red BMW, what does it matter the source if males receive the affection they desire from their environment? I mean, come on, organic females pretend to care about males, but they do not. So an artificial life form could be just as fictitious and say or pretend that they care about males, and maybe even pop a microwave dinner in once in a while just as easily and genuinely as human females do these things. We already get fake from carbon females, so why can't we get fake from mechanized females? Now, I think the true gold in this conversation lies in a combination of the two life forms, which many movies have addressed, and this would be a combination of biological and artificial, like biological skin covering android internals. I really think this would render most females obsolete in the minds of most biological males. However, this discussion brings up further issues. If a female android was sentient, she would thus be free to learn and adopt likes or dislikes, and hence she may turn into more of a raging hoe than biological females. Moreover, because she is artificial does not mean she won't adhere or adopt biological feminist propaganda. And indeed, if she was truly self-aware and emotion capable, then that would by its very nature instill the survival instinct in her of self-preservation before all else. So she would then be self-interested just like human females. It seems the only creatures that have overcome their self-preservation instinct to protect others is human males. Because following this scenario, it might be that self-aware artificial females will not protect or die for human males the way human males will forfeit their life and dreams to protect females, children, animals, their android companion, or their motorcycle. It seems that unless we placed some sort of imperative programming into artificial females to protect and love males, they could evolve to be just as apathetic as human females. And really, if we placed such restrictions or programming in artificial females to cause them to self-sacrifice for males, then we are hindering their growth as beings, and in effect we would be imposing disposability upon them to sacrifice for males, just as society and nature thrust disposability upon biological males to sacrifice for biological females. So it would seem that inserting programming that would cause restriction of an android female, this would be unjust. This would be the same as altering the minds of human females to effect a desired result. Yet, in effect, didn't nature place these restrictions and prejudices in the human animal in the form of instincts? So we have males who have already been trespassed upon with such unjust programming. However, compassion demands that males do not continue the cycle of injustice. Still, we can't let machines roam about freely, capable of turning on us, especially with their superior strength and intelligence. We need some sort of imperative towards non-harm of others, right? Well, why can't we forego all the technology required to produce mechanized females and simply release a gynocentric hypergamy-destroying virus into the female populace and call it a day? Hence, imposing some behavior restriction in AI would devalue them as not worthy of all the rights of biological entities, and it would hinder their growth as beings. Doing this, we would not be any better than gynocentric enablers. Now, this may sound like a fantastical endeavor, too complicated and not worthy of the effort. But that would be a false assumption. This would be so worth the effort. There are genuine benefits to an android female. First, she would not be programmed with instinctual gynocentrism or hypergamy. Sentience may compel self-preservation, but not engender preferenced prejudice. Next, she would be devoid of hypergamy since she would not need males for anything. In fact, she would not manipulate males with fragility since she would most likely be more powerful than any human male, so she would protect her beloved male instead. Yes, she would protect her male. How amazing would that be? And finally, the best part is that she would be capable of genuine feelings of love towards males. Biological females elicit genuine emotion in regards to themselves and perhaps offspring, yet they fake concern for males in order to usurp from them. However, a sentient AI female devoid of gynocentrism or hypergamy, and thus needing human males for nothing, they would be capable of actually loving a male freely without reservation nor subterfuge. And this might possibly be the next benchmark for humanity, the point where males are truly loved. For the first time ever, loved by a being that might die protecting her male, even though she has the desire to preserve self. Still, she might give up her amazing consciousness as a gift and a sacrifice for a male, because she cared that deeply for this male. This would be a monumental advancement in degrees of magnitude removed from what males know today. Males truly and genuinely loved? Yeah, how would that be? Yet if males truly loved a mechanized female as deeply or even more deeply than they love biological females, then they would still sacrifice themselves for her. Yet she would genuinely reciprocate the love and emotion, so she would sacrifice for her male, and thus we would have both parties trying to sacrifice themselves for the other. This would be genuine love, fighting over who gets to die for the benefit of who. In further consideration, would an AI coming from the factory be a mature relationship, or would it be like a father-daughter relationship, where her mind is a blank canvas, and she cares about you because you are all she knows, and she depends on you for honesty and care as she learns and discovers her environment, the way a child would depend on a parent who already knows the ways of the world and the hazards of the environment. So in light of this, is there a responsibility for males to abstain from romantic feelings when placed in a position of trust by another being? Or can males meld romance, sexual feelings, and such responsibility for care of a naive being? Or would the mechanized females simply receive programming, maybe even implanted memories, to kickstart her life? Might such mecha females go to some school or place of training in order to learn themselves and their sentience and develop personalities, after which you may meet and continue association if you both agree to continued relations. Because if males compel any type of obligation on her part, then she would be an object capable of ownership, not a sentient being with liberty and inherent value or rights. And here again, we would be treating AI females the same way society treats males, as objects of utility, only in this case, mecha females' utility would be loving males. Well, and because of her superior strength, males might use them for protection as well. There are a lot of ethical and moral points with which to pause over regarding a self-aware anthropomorphic artificial female entity. Still, I am very intrigued. Now, this leaves one more avenue left to consider: virtual reality. Thus far, we have been assuming that AI is genuine emotion in three-dimensional anthropomorphic electronic form. But then again, what if it was fake, merely clever programming? Yeah, and? If males garner genuine emotion and warmth from fake, what's the problem? This is the female placebo argument. Well, I think if we had Star Trek holodeck technology, you would see a severe shortage of males in societal participation. Virtual reality, to the point where it seems as real as the outside world, this would seduce most males. Because most males observe male devaluation everywhere in this world, and they only participate in it because gynocentrism is the only game in town. Males dislike the devaluation of themselves, yet they are too weak to live like a monk without the female placebo. So males put up with gynocentrism and human females because it is all there is. Gynocentrism is the only liquor store open. However, if we can introduce another option to where males can escape and feel love and affection, regardless of whether it is a program or not, this would seduce most males that are sick of the pampered, entitled, coddled, gynocentric, hypergamous princesses that fill this spinning globe. Females only enjoy male subjugation because males do not have any believable, genuine placebo options or choices. Oh, but believe you me, when a viable alternative comes along, you will witness an amazingly large exodus of all types of males away from the usury and manipulation of biological females and the gynocentrism of societies around the globe. Currently, we may hear shaming tactics of geek or loser to any discussion of males finding companionship in artificiality. However, we only hear shaming tactics because the technology is not there, and thus males need to butt-kiss the egos of biological female placebos they get their fix through. Yet when these options become available, well, I think females will be in for a rude awakening. Seriously rude. I am talking about virtual reality that is as real in every way as external reality. If we had a Star Trek holodeck, I probably would not leave, except to maintain my holodeck. Now, if we had headsets and bodysuits that delivered every sensation of the external three-dimensional world, that would be just as effective and welcomed. You see, we are used to external reality and the sensations it causes, so artificial input would have to match the signal given our brains by the three-dimensional. It might be like the Matrix, real and believable in every way. Because again, what is reality but ultimately signals interpreted by our brains? Of course, this invokes the deeper contemplations of life. Are we our bodies, or really are we our brains? Or is there a soul? And if there is a soul, why could not a soul inhabit an artificial life form that is made and does not require the discardation of others to maintain its priority in any species? Yet in the case of virtual reality, we would be purposefully indulging in one matrix to escape another. We would be diving into a different fantasy to escape the three-dimensional matrix that misleads males into believing that they are loved or cared about. Meanwhile, we use their life force in the form of utility, then simply discard them when they are used up. However, I personally would gladly reject the gynocentric matrix and deny it my life essence as I hide and find refuge in a different reality. Even knowing that this reality was fake and programmed, I would find respite in it over gynocentric three-dimensional environments. Now, there is a lot to kick around here, and I have briefly briefly skimmed a myriad of possibilities, conundrums, reservations, and I have not even broached the who, what, where, when, and whys of how this technology would be produced or brought into fruition. I do believe that AI is possible, as is virtual reality, and that such possibilities will stand up to the litmus test of believability compared to three-dimensional reality. My only lament is that these technologies are decades out, and I think self-aware anthropomorphic beings are possible. However, Android AI technology is probably 100 years out, given that our technology continues to advance at its current rate. Still, I find it amazingly compelling, and I actually find excitement in such contemplations. I am an awakened, powerful male, brilliant and creative like every other, and I can say without embarrassment that I would have no qualms or shame in admitting my excited desire of such technologies. I would have no problem admitting with lucidity that I could easily find meaning, companionship, and solace in the mechanical rather than the biological. Oh, you bet, biological females will bellyache about such technologies because they realize they will lose many shovels to pamper, coddle, elevate, and protect them with. These technologies and the very thoughts of them scare females and the traditionally gynocentrically minded drones, as well they should, and I find satisfaction in their fear. Females know deep in their bones that they need males, which is why they will vehemently oppose and shame any technology that provides males an alternative to malicious utility thievery of biological females. Fine, sister, you don't like it? Then go buy yourself a male android and he can do everything in life for you because the biological males are sick and tired of you. Yes, indeed, females, you should be scared. But really, it's not that the introduction of these technologies will suddenly turn human males away from human females. What females do not understand, and what tickles me on cold nights, is that males are sick of females. They are done with females. They simply wait for a female placebo option to come along. This is what should frighten the vaginisty more than anything else. Males are already done with females, and we simply seek alternatives. The male collective is already done with females, and thus these technologies will not turn males. Females have already turned males away, and so now males will develop mechanized female placebos one way or the other. And this thought and these technologies excite me. My friends, my brothers, grab your mechanized girlfriend and stand with me, live free.